welcome to our YouTube channel and the East Coast Keto Test Kitchen. I'm Bobbi.
And I'm Geoff.
And together
We are
East Coast. We are
East Coast.
East Coast Keto. We're going to talk all about bulletproof coffee today and hopefully explain some of the differences between MCT and coconut oil and grass-fed butter and regular butter. So come join us.
Yeah. And make sure that you subscribe to our channel so that you get notified when we publish a new video.
Totally. And make sure you ring that bell as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all a good thing.
Oh, that's good. All right. Join us.
Let's make some bulletproof coffee.
We're ready to roll.
All right. So, small investment to make. And you'll make all kinds.
40, 50 bucks?
Not even.
Okay.
Yeah, there's even cheaper versions you can get. There's a mini bullet.
And there's also an immersion blender that you can get. And if you're trying to make bulletproof coffee, don't try to make it and just stir it up because you need it, fully emulsified.
Mm-hmm. You can also use a regular blender.
You can.
Depends on what you have in your kitchen.
You can.
So just a regular cup of coffee here.
Yeah, to start it off.
And that aside.
So we have lots of different options to choose. We can use whipping cream.
Yep.
There's
Which
different.
is what
That's your preference, yeah. We also have both a liquid and a powdered sweetener. Now make sure they're keto approved. Make sure there's no dextrose or maltodextrin or any funny stuff in there. You really need to look at the ingredients in this stuff. Don't trust it just because it says sweetener doesn't mean...
Just because it says stevia.
Exactly. Even if it just says stevia or stevia in the raw, check the ingredients. Don't trust your keto to anybody else. We have chai tea here. Like you can do bulletproof coffee. You can do chai tea. You can do regular tea. You can do hot chocolate.
Matcha.
Now, hot chocolate is cocoa. Don't use the quick or any of that stuff. And there's also matcha, which is basically it's green tea.
Mm-hmm.
Only instead of steeping it out, they've ground up the leaves. So that's what matcha is. You need some source of fat, so you can either use butter. You can use ghee, you can use coconut oil or MCT oil. Lots of different options you can use. You could even use a little bit of avocado oil, but these two here
are the most popular, right?
Exactly, and these are medium chain triglycerides, and they're basically named because of the chemical structure of the fats. Regular fats contain 13 to 21 carbons. 13, and whereas these are medium chain, these are 6 to 12 carbons each. Now the lower number is better, so what they call a C6, which is carbon 6, is going to be better and more fast acting for you, whereas the C12, which is the top of the limit, is not going to metabolize as fast. They're all good. They're all going to be better than the long chain.
Different schools of thought on.
Totally. I know Lauric acid, which is one of the MCTs. There's a lot of scientists out there or dietitians that say it's not a MCT at all, that it's actually a long chain. And
this is right on the border between
exactly
the 6 to 12, 13 to 20.
Exactly. But the difference between a long chain and a medium chain is it's more easily metabolized. With the long chains, what happens is the fats have to go into your bloodstream. From there, it teams up with cholesterol and proteins, and from there, it's carried where it's either used as energy or stored as fat. Now, with the medium chain, what happens with that is it goes right directly into your liver, and boom, it goes right to work for you. So it's put to work really, really, really fast.
Which is also, some people tend to have disaster pants.
Yes, disaster pants is real. So if you're going to be using MCT oil, true MCT oil,
be careful with it.
Start off with a little dab will do you. Like we'd recommend maybe a teaspoon a day, and then work your way up if you want to have more than that. So the difference between two of these guys, I mean, people are constantly saying, what's the difference between a premium coconut oil and an MCT oil?
Capric.
Okay. So that one is the best one. And that one is the fastest one to metabolize, or the fastest one to turn to ketones. Now that one only makes up 1% of what's in here. So the best, the quickest acting, there's only a little tiny bit in there. All right. So obviously that makes this better than that right from the get-go.
Yeah, this is 10%.
No, with this one here, you're looking at around, say 60 to 65% of MCT, whereas this is pure MCT. This is actually a man-made. What they do is they extract the MCTs and they isolate them independently, and it's a process called fractionation. Thank you.
Yeah.
It always gets stuck. All right, so the next one below the C6 or above the C6 is the C8, and that's the Capric Acid. Now that one is really good for gut health, and it's the second fastest to metabolize or be turned into ketones for our purposes, and it's going to make up around 12% of what's in coconut oil. So not quite as good as the other one, but you know, it's better than what's in here.
She's not bad.
She's not bad, but the next one is the Capric Acid, and that one third fasted. That's going to be around 10% of what's in there. And the last one is Lauric Acid, which, as we mentioned earlier, that's the one that's a little bit controversial. Some people say it's not even an MCT oil at all, but that one is going to make up 77% of what's in here. So it's the least efficient, it's the slowest, and it's most of what's in coconut oil. So you can see why people prefer this one, which has got all the fast-acting ones, over this one, which has got the slow-acting
The
ones.
nice thing about this one is it's antimicrobial.
Yeah, it's highest in
Qualities.
antimicrobial.
Yeah.
So all those bacteria and germs and stuff like that, there's going to be more of that in there.
Good for gut health.
Yeah, so this one is okay. I mean, it's not terrible for you, but this is the golden nugget. So if you choose to use either the coconut oil or the MCT oil, they're both good. They both have benefits. Obviously, this one is good. This one is going to be...
This is a little less expensive too.
Exactly. This one is a lot more affordable. This one here is
pricey.
Pricey.
That's what, $30 for a bottle that size?
Exactly. And I mean, this is expensive
still
enough
dear.
kind of thing.
10, 12, $15.
So yeah, so the other thing is butter. I mean, when we're talking about the difference between regular butter and grass-fed, you know, the one thing worth mentioning is that here in Canada, you know, grass-fed is really
Grass-fed
hard to
butter
find.
it's a moot point.
Exactly, because
we
we have
can't get it.
because we have winter.
It's snowing out here
You know,
now.
there's going to be grains that are going to supplement the cow's diet. So there's lots that you can get in the States. If you go to the States, bring back a case of butter by all means. The difference
Sell it
between
on eBay, you make a fortune.
the difference between the two is obviously, I mean, if the cow is eating something that we shouldn't eat, it's, you know, going to be a garbage in and garbage out. But overall, the grass-fed is going to have more nutrients just because of what is in the food that they're eating. And also, it's going to be less of the omega-6s and 9s. Now, for us, omega-3s are you know, really good for us. They're healthy fats. We do need a little tiny bit of 6s and 9s in our diet because that helps with inflammation. And inflammation, of course, like if you have a cut on your hand, it's the inflammation that causes the swelling and heals it. You want to have a little bit of omega-6s and 9s, but you don't want to have a lot where you got like a major inflammation, like multiple sclerosis it's an inflammatory disease. So, you know, you don't want a lot.
Clogged arteries.
Exactly. All right, so with all that...
It's not the butter that clogs your arteries.
Exactly. So, with that being said, you're going to
make some friggin' bulletproof
you're going to
coffee.
show us how to make some bulletproof coffee.
Okay, let's make some bulletproof coffee. Yes?
Do it.
All right. So we got a regular 10-ounce cup of coffee, and I'm going to add...
What if you get 8 ounces?
It'll make do. So what I got here is probably about 3 tablespoons of whipping cream.
Now, if you are fasting, you know, chances are the whipping cream in itself is probably going to break your fast. The sweetener definitely is. So if you're using MCTs and bulletproof coffee and you're fasting, you might want to just go back to a regular black coffee.
Yep.
I'm going to react different than what you're going to react, so unless you can test your blood sugar levels, I'd use caution with these guys for fasting.
I mean, 99% of the time I drink my coffee black.
Yep.
At work all the time. And this is the only thing that I add sweetener to.
Yes, exactly.
And,
well, other
and
than desserts.
Oh, and desserts, yeah.
Yes.
But as far as coffee goes, I've always been black coffee.
Yep.
But this little bit of sweetness kind of changes the flavor. So I don't put a full packet in.
Do it.
Probably about half.
Put it all in.
No, I'm not putting it all in.
A lot of it is the bliss point. You know, when we all started keto, we were all used to a level of sweetness up here. But as you travel along your ketogenic journey, your desire for that sweet, you know, may still stay. But at the end of the day, you know, your taste receptors are going to be down here versus what it used to be. So
Yeah, that's just another variation that we can put in there.
that's a liquid stevia, which you can use instead of.
Now,
Again, make sure you're checking your ingredients on all your sweeteners.
and I got probably a tablespoon of butter,
Yeah.
hippity hop.
And are you going to
There you
use
go.
MCT or are you going to use coconut oil? I mean, ideally you can put this on now, and that's a lovely.
That's a lovely bulletproof coffee.
Exactly, but adding the coconut oil gives it a little bit of extra fats. You know, again, you don't want to guzzle fats just for the sake of guzzling fats. But for example, if you have a really long day and you know you're going to be on the run, and you know that's a perfect time to me to have a bulletproof coffee. You have it in the morning, and all these healthy fats are gonna keep you feeling full throughout the day.
Yeah, put a little drop of this in. Not even going to measure it.
So what is it you got there, Toonses?
It's the just regular
Regular
premium
coconut oil.
oil,
Okay.
the liquid form. And yeah, just a little squirt.
Yeah.
That'll do.
Now, something that I usually add in that you don't ordinarily add in is a little tiny bit of pink Himalayan salt. Because I find that pink Himalayan salts, like even when it comes to coffee or desserts and stuff like that, a lot of times it just gives it a little bit of extra richness. You're going to do it now. Oh, yeah. And you
There you
literally
go.
just want a little pinch, but it gives the flavor more depth. Helps
And
helps.
It helps reduce the bitterness of coffee too.
Exactly.
I mean, in general, if you find your coffee a little bitter, just put a little
Totally.
tiny bit of salt in it.
Yep.
Alright, so make sure this is on good and tight.
Now, one of the things that we didn't mention with the MCT oil before you whiz that up is the Capric Acid. A lot of times for people, when you're drinking this and you're not used to it, it's going to give you a little bit of a burning sensation in the top of your throat. But that same acid, that's the one that's the really fast acting. So you're not going to get it in coconut oil, but you will get it in MCT oil.
And it doesn't hit everyone the
Totally.
same.
And it's just a matter of getting used to it.
Yeah.
So let's go. Let's see.
Whiz it up. There you go. That'll do. I mean, the longer you leave it in there, especially with the whipping cream, it's gonna add more and more body. And yeah, when you put it on tight after you whiz it up, it's almost like it's stuck.
Now make sure your coffee is not too hot, because if it is too hot, you can crack your container. You know, you don't want that stuff that's literally going to burn the face off you anyway.
Right.
So if we let that settle for a minute, you're going to see how lovely that looks, how it's starting to separate. And what we're going to do is we're going to step outside. We're going to get a close-up shot of that, and we'll be back for a taste test. How about that?
Okay.
Who gets a drink up near you?
Well, I put the sweetener in there, so that one's mine.
There you go. All right, come on, we go. So you can see that as the coffee starts to settle a little bit, it starts to separate into a nice, rich, creamy foam. And down on the bottom is your absolutely yummy coffee. Now, it's all good to drink, but this is one of the joys of a bulletproof coffee, is that nice, rich, foamy froth on the top. All right, you want to do a taste test?
Yeah, sure do.
All right, let's go.
And we'll come back. Then we get to do a taste test.
You do, you get to do a taste test.
All right. Oh my God.
I got to try.
You do.
All right, let's have a shot.
You could legit put that in shooter glasses.
Totally. Another thing you can do is you can put a little tiny bit of cinnamon on top, a little bit of nutmeg. You know, you can spice it up, and there's lots of different variations you can do, especially if it's something that you ordinarily put into a sweet keto dessert. You can put it on top of here.
Absolutely.
Anyway, there's our video on
Bulletproof.
coffee. Hopefully we explained everything and didn't confuse you further. If you got any questions, you can reach us in the East Coast Keto Facebook group. You can reach us on East Coast Keto website. You can also reach us on my keto page, which is Bobbi Pike, Newfoundland Keto Queen. So there you have it.
Pigeon, whatever. Yeah.
Carrier pigeon, smoke signal. Anyway, we're going to go and finish our coffee, and we will will talk to you later. Thanks for joining us today.
All right. Bye, folks.
Bye.